Okay, hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Upgrad Abroad's webinar on Germany. And today's topic is a topic which I believe will resonate with a lot of you. And it's about how to study in Germany, or how can you do a graduate education in Germany under 20 lakh rupees. So, as all of you know, when we speak of Germany as a country, it's considered one of the better destinations because of its exceptional quality of education, its strong economy, which of course means that you have plenty of opportunities that you can take up, and its affordability. Yes, and all of these 3 points, they make a stellar combination which provide you with a very supportive academic environment. And of course, not to deny that Germany is extremely culturally rich. And that's why it makes it an ideal choice for international students. So this webinar that we are going to be taking up today, it's going to be on Germany as a study destination. And of course, because most of the topic is connected with the financial part of it, which I know that is often a concern for a lot of students because studying abroad is an aspiration for so many. And one of the critical points to determine what destination you are going to go to is the tuition fee or the living expenses, or in total, the expenditure that you are going to incur. And along with that, of course, you all have different aspirations for studying abroad. Some of you might just be doing it to professionally upskill yourself and may plan to come back to India after you complete your education. Some of you may want to or stay back in the country and think of it as a long term option, while some of you may decide that, okay, I'm going to be there for a couple of years and then I'm going to I'm going to come back eventually to my home country. So those are some points that we are going to speak of. What is the kind of investment that you need? How can you minimize your investment and maximize your ROI? That's essentially what we're going to do. So joining me here today is Praneet Singh, who is the Director of University Partnerships at Upgrad Abroad. So Praneet, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Raki. I think it's an incredible opportunity for me to talk about Germany and our mobility to Germany so far. And like you were talking about, I think a lot of the consequential piece of studying abroad is just the right country, the right industry, the right school, the right institution. But more importantly, I think the right economy for a specific professional to thrive in. For example, if it's luxury and fashion or manufacturing, uh, it is, of course, Europe, and then we have subsets of Germany and France. I think each one of these economies have a specific niche for themselves that they've carved out. I think over the last 5 years, Raki, Germany's um, built that prowess, that robustness for itself, where they've emerged, Raki, as one of the top economies for advanced engineering, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, uh, logistics, automation, automotive, and aerospace engineering. So a lot of these things have fallen in place to kind of bring Germany where it is and making it one of the most sought after economies uh, for consulting, for engineering, for medical professionals to kind of thrive in. I think for me or you, sometimes moving to another part of the world is not just an immigration decision, but a choice that dictates where can I thrive in the discipline of my choice the most. And that may not always translate to whether you choose India or America or Germany. That just simply put means which is that right geographical place for me to thrive or build a career in a domain that values my human capital the most, or where can Rakhi Talukdar, in her absolute intellect and capability and human capital, fill the largest gap? So I think for the longest part, Rakhi, now Germany is that country. It's now emerged as the third largest economy. Uh,
Yes.
so I think it's a good time for us to be
Yeah.
talking and for Indian students to be thinking about Germany.
Great, great. Perfect. Thank you so much for touching upon those points. And as you rightly mentioned, that Germany is so ideal for students who want to pursue a career in logistics, in automation, in engineering, in data science, so on and so forth. In your experience, what would you say about the success of students, or anything that you would like to share about how you've seen students fare when they've taken up these fields or other alternative fields in management? How do students fare, and what kind of, let's say, um, return on investment are they able to have, and why is Germany so ideal for that? Yeah, I think Praneeth, you may be on mute.
Sorry. One of the most important pieces of this, Raki, is I think for a large section of audience we're talking to, I think there is this notion that Germany is free. Uh,
Yes,
there's hardly any tuition cost, and that's true for public schools. However,
correct.
get into some of them, Raki, is not a piece of cake. It's difficult. You need extraordinary merit. There's a high amount of rigor. If you remember, we were talking to the director of SRH, and he was mentioning that he himself went to one of these PUs for mechanical engineering, and his experience
Correct.
was
Yes.
it's so rigorous, it's so high on pressure that a lot of students feel that they're completely exhausted and drained because Germany's general benchmarking or standard for rigor is a lot higher than you would expect. But right now, we're talking about a private school in Germany or private schools in general, Raki. They'd cost you anywhere between 10 to 15 lakhs for a complete degree.
Yeah.
And the average career progression gets them a salary of about 45 to 50,000 euros. That, Raki, alone is about three times the
Yeah.
yield investment. And we frankly sent about 2,500 students to this date as upgrad. And some of them are placed in banks, some of them are placed in supply chain companies, some of them are placed in financial companies, some of them are placed in data analytics organizations, and all of them make upwards of 40K euros. So I think from an ROI perspective, it's at least 3x, Raki, and I think
Hmm.
that that benchmarking
True.
is super.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And you covered a very interesting point where you differentiated between public and private universities. So, would you say that it's a misconception that people have? I'm sure a lot of students who've joined us here today have considered Germany primarily because they feel that, okay, you can get into a public university and it costs nothing to get into a public university. So, is that a misconception? And is that also a misconception that private education in Germany is expensive, or it's something which could be outside of your aspiration or aspirational levels?
Rakia, I think let me distinguish the two. Technical universities or government universities are generally a little low on the tuition.
Yeah.
If you were them, you'd be charging about 20 to 25K a month, which is about 3 lakh rupees a year, and
Mm.
your degree is done. Like your master's is done
Mm.
for. So not technically free, but more or less. I mean,
More or less. Yeah.
now, Raki, these schools are better for those who want to make a life in research, or say, who want to find success in research, those who
Mm.
follow a path of advanced engineering or manufacturing, or going invasively into physics or math or chemistry or biology, any specific sciences, whether life or core or hybrid. So supposedly nanotechnology or biotechnology or biomedical or biochemistry. So anything hybrid or anything that's core sciences or life sciences. And you go from master's to PhD, but a life in research, a life in
Yes.
academia, Raki. It's not for those who want to immediately go and get integrated into the industry. For those kind of students, we call this technical Hochschools, which are um, the University of Applied Sciences.
Correct.
These are schools like SRH, ISM, UAM, where the curriculum design is strongly linked to industry. Like, what is it that the
Yeah.
German industry needs? What is the most,
Mm-hmm.
which are some of the most coveted industries or fields which can absorb a specific set of technical workforce, Raki. So going to a UAS sometimes in terms of perception may not be as academically excellent as going to a TU, which is a technical university,
Right.
does entail that you immediately get absorbed by, you know,
Industries. Yeah.
course, because
Yes.
curricular design is reverse engineered of what the industry needs and what Raki is going to be taught in the classroom. Plus, it has a lot of practical exposure, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
learning, a lot of workshop hours, a lot of internships, 100 things that applied sciences universities make you do to get better absorbed into the industry. Yes,
Absolutely. Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Praneet. And I do see that the students have, two of our students, they have questions which I would take up. But before that, I would like to let everybody know that that's the place where you put down your questions. This session is intended to be more interactive. So put down your questions on the Q&A box and we will take it up. I want to, go on to my next question, Praneet, and that is with respect to what you mentioned about upgrad abroad and partnerships that upgrad abroad has. So, would you be able to help us learn a little bit about those partnerships and how is it that you have enabled 2,500 students in the last 3 years to access a German education and to achieve their career outcomes?
absolutely. So I think essentially, Raki, we've now mobilized about, of course, 2,500 close students, but we've enrolled about 4,000 students who are doing online programs with us before they move on campus. They do a semester online and they do the remainder of the program on campus. That's a hybrid structure. That's something that's proprietary to us, Raki. Uh,
Right.
we call this the Upgrade Accelerator Program.
Yes.
Semester online and 2 semesters on campus, or 1 year online for bachelors and 2 years on campus. Um, and students get an undergrad degree. Now, we work with ISM, University of Applied Sciences, that's based in Dortmund, Raki.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic for business and data science. It's
Right.
only private AACSP business school in Germany, which makes it one of the top 5% business schools in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
in the gamut of schools like ISP, IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, um, it's one of those schools. Then we've recently planned to work with SRH, University of Applied Sciences, that's based in
Right.
Heidelberg and has an extension campuses have extension campuses in Berlin, um, Cologne, Dresden, Leipzig, Munich, so on and so forth. And then the third one is University of Applied Management, which is in Munich. All of
Yes.
accredited private universities of applied sciences, but have it in them
Yes.
kind of uh, deliver and run superlative academic practices and get students to fantastic career breakthroughs,
Yeah.
internships, exposure. I was recently at the SRH campus, Rocky, and the kind of uh, brilliance they have in their campus, the kind of state of the art um, laboratories, workshops, uh, studios they have to kind of give students the right set of or the right amount of exposure to translate whatever they learn into real life action, or to translate learning into industrial value. I think Germany is fantastic with that. Uh,
Yeah.
so these are the three schools that I'd specifically like to mention and feature. In fact, Raki, ISM with us And in fact, most schools with us have exclusive scholarships, have exclusive criteria.
Yes.
The students who study with us will always have an advantage because the APS now, which I think we can talk about after this, APS these days takes about 4 months. And by the time
Yeah.
students APS, we can easily
Mhm.
get into, uh,
Yes.
I mean, we can get the one semester done with.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's very helpful and it gives us the students an early start. So, on that note, could you help us understand what exactly is the learning journey and also what is the portfolio of courses that students can access in all of the universities that you've mentioned?
Raki, we've got MBA. We've
Yes.
an MBA in 60 and 90. 60 is a general MBA, which is 1 year. MBA 90 is a specialized MBA, which can be in analytics, digital marketing, healthcare, supply chain, sustainability, so on and so forth. Um, then, Raki, we've got MIM, which is MSc International Management.
Yeah.
Then we've got MSc Data Analytics. We've got MSc in Information Systems,
Computer science? Yes.
Computer Science. We've got
Yes.
in MEng, which is a Masters of Engineering.
Masters of Engineering. Yeah.
Then we've got an MEng actually in Business Engineering, one in Industrial, one in Business. And so I think we've got some of these really good masters courses that have
Mhm.
uh, job opportunities linked to them. And then we've got the bachelors in management, bachelors in information systems, bachelor in finance, and bachelors in data science. So we've got these with us now.
Excellent, excellent. So, plethora of options for both management and tech students. And what would you say are the real advantages of this hybrid model? How does it really solve for accessibility? And I think that would also cover all the questions that students have asked. And most of those questions are centered around specific courses that can you guide us for admissions in a BBA program without knowing German language, or somebody is interested in a UG in aerospace. So how does that hybrid model that UpGrad offers really solves for that?
Uh, Raki, look, I think one piece of the puzzle is as an Indian student, what does Raki need to get in order to move into a German school or apply? So one is APS. Now, for all of our
Yeah.
audience, what does ABS really mean? APS, sorry. APS is this document authentication service. So whatever documents I have earned, meaning 10th, 12th, my degree, my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, so on and so forth, they go through an authentication process where APS, which is a part of the German consulate or German embassy, checks the validity and if the degrees are, or if the degree documents are legitimate or not. That takes about 4 months. So for 4 months, you literally can't do anything but wait for the APS certificate to be released, and then Raki makes an application to the school and then gets where she wants to get. And with UpCare, what happens is we get you admitted into these German schools from the beginning. You do a semester in the parallel, you get your APS done. This one, of course, makes the German education system more accessible so students can start tomorrow or at the end of each month as we begin. Spend lesser time waiting for things that take 4 to 6 months anyway, and spend that time in actively or proactively rather studying the first semester syllabus. And by the time you go to Germany, you've saved almost 6-7 lakh rupees at least, and you graduate sooner. You enter the German classroom with an advanced standing, and hence I think the larger perspective, Raki, at the end of the day is it just makes it super easy for Indian students to make their German ed super affordable. So that
Correct.
20 lakh degree then now becomes something that you can do within 10 lakh rupees.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can go to Germany for just a year instead of 2 full years or 1.5 years. You can get an assured access into some of these schools or an assured admission into these schools than not. So some of these things I think play a very critical, crucial role in making sure that how easy is it for Indian students now to think about German higher education.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Praneeth. Thank you. And in respect of the outcomes that students can have after they complete their education, would you say that there is any difference at all? Because a lot of students um, may have questions around that or may have their reservations. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I'm not sure if I got that right.
Yeah, I was asking in respect of the outcomes that students are able to have after they complete their education. Are the outcomes similar or same?
You mean between TUs and US?
No, between the student doing the entire course in Germany or deciding to go ahead with upgrad.
So, as a foreign student myself, Raki, I'd like the group or the forum to know that I was fortunate to go into a really well-ranked school for my master's, and I realized when I went there that out of the one semester that I used to do, I did 3 semesters in all. Every semester had 3 classes to 4, meaning 3 courses, and at least one of them was online. So typically, if I did 12 courses in my master's, I did 5 of them fully online and 7 on campus. So I
Yeah,
think every course in these, in these, every program these days is a mixture or is a very well blended curricular methodology between online, on campus, and self directed reading material. It's finally split between three. One is called asynchronous, which is your recorded content, which is your self-directed readable material or watchable material. Second is your synchronous lectures, like Raki was mentioning, the online classes. And third is your live lectures, which happen in person.
yeah.
So, no, one is your degree never mentions which modality was the class in.
True. Mm-hmm.
Second is people at the end of the day, when they interview you, they see your absolute capability and your human capital, not what kind of modality have you attended your classes in.
Right.
I think, Raki, this system, this methodology, this design of the program delivery gives access to students who otherwise would have never dreamt of going to Germany. So I think for what it's worth, it gets you a German degree at half the cost.
Yes.
It gets you the 18 months of job seeker visa, which literally then translates to about 4 years of work visa. And third is it gets you 3x ROI. So I think by the time you finish your 3 or 4 or 5 years of working, you've 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 earned close to about 12 to 15 times of what you spent. So I think it's absolutely worth it.
Correct.
These
Correct.
all give an internship. So
Yeah.
it's easy for these employers to also work with you to know your capability and caliber.
Mhm. Excellent. Excellent. And in respect of the kind of students that these universities are looking at, what would you say is an ideal fit for any of these programs? And does it also, do these hybrid models also offer an advantage to the students in respect of their entry criteria?
Naki, of course, yes, I think one advantage is the scholarship. Second,
Yeah,
serious advantage, Raki, is the fact that the criteria is a little slightly lower and easier
perfect. Yeah,
because your ultimate transfer to Germany depends on the online semester that you've done in India more than the absolute marks in your bachelor. So I'm just saying they give you, all of our schools give you at least 20 to 25% scholarship. Uh,
okay, that's excellent. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We not only give you an easy or an eased out criteria, but also more scholarships.
Okay, great. That sounds great, Praneeth, and thank you so much for giving us a complete overview of the programs and the learning journey that you're offering at Upgrad. I do feel that our students have got a great understanding now and a comprehensive understanding. I would just like to take the next 5 minutes to answer some of the questions that students have raised. So, one of the questions is, Praneeth, that of course, what are the courses in public universities for students who have humanities background and have also done a master's in social work? So, I will just rephrase this. The student is interested in pursuing a graduate education but comes from a humanities background and is particularly keen in going into a public university. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Raki, I think I'd like to pick up a few. So one is, look, public universities are normally counterintuitive to the idea of access. They want a specific degree of high merit students, a specific set of students that match the persona that they're ideally looking for, and specifically those who are very invested in research. But that said, I think what's more important for people to know is that the idea of hybrid programs that we run, Raki, is that no matter what background you come from, as long as you're not a BA General or BSc General student, as long as you have a specialized degree, the first semester that we lets you have a lot of exposure, and universities will accept you because your admission does not necessarily only depend on your undergrad, but now it depends a lot more on the first semester they do with us. And plus, Raki, the other piece is I forgot to mention to you that public schools in Germany, Raki, need your German language skills,
Yeah,
which is not the easiest thing to do. So
correct.
all our upgrad students don't need German language. And
Yes.
for those who do, we teach them German language until A2 level when they're with us for 6 months.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Praneeth. And also, the student mentions that they are keen in building a career in sustainability. So, alternatively, do you have a course at Upgrad Abroad centered around sustainability, but could possibly be from a private university? Would you say that the alternate is also possible, that the student could explore education and sustainability, but which could come at the cost of a public university degree?
I think we've got an option with SRH, that's an MA International Management, or I'm sorry, an MSc International Business and Sustainability.
Right.
Got an MBA in Sustainability from SRH. We've got an incredible sustainability, ESG governance, and circular economy degree from France as well. So I think ESG, environmental social governance in general, has garnered a lot of interest in some of the largest corporations in the world, because I think how do they make sure that there's absolute zero wastage in any order of the value chain or supply chain of a company, plus everything is recycled, everything is refurbished. You would see a lot of apparel brands talk of recycled material. You'll see a lot of packaging brands talk of recycled material. You'll see a lot of consulting groups talk about how they're consulting for ESG. So I
Yeah.
think communal and societal environmental impact is being spoken about. So I think sustainability, we can find an MBA. We've got an MBA in Germany that's going to cost between 12 to 13 lakhs, and I think that's absolutely worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Praneeth. And I will just take up a final question. And the student here wants to know a little bit about your partnership with IU Berlin.
Yeah, so we still
Yeah.
work with you, but for the moment, we're just doing on campus, no hybrid. We're actually oversubscribed with IU. We had uh, thousands of students who were doing it, who are studying with us. But I think um, that course, at least for right now, is out of any space. We do not have more study places. We've filled all of them, and so we're uh, like I said, oversubscribed right now for IU.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Praneeth. I think that was wonderful. And it was a pleasure having you on this webinar. and learning so much about education in Germany. Thank you for all your insights. And to all of our students, thank you so much for joining in. We hope that it was a fruitful discussion. Since some of you have mentioned or asked specific questions around your course of interest, my colleague Shreyashi has put a message on the chat box, which will give you the link to our pages on the website. And that's where you can get directly connected with a counselor who will give you, who will analyze your profile and who will guide you to the next steps. So you need to click on the first, no, I'm sorry, you need to click on the link which says check out our website, Upgrade Abroad, and you'll be directly connected with our counselor who will analyze and discuss your profile and get in touch with you with the next steps. So that will be all from our end today. Thank you once again for your presence, and we really look forward to hosting you on a second webinar very soon.
Thank you, everybody. I think I just like to reaffirm and reiterate that whether it's engineering or supply chain or fashion or finance or sports management or MBA 6090 MSc, I think Upgrade's portfolio in the next 2 weeks is going to be recalibrated. We'll have a lot more than we used to. And I'm sure it's an exciting time to be. So make sure, like Raki mentioned, send us your applications, send us your queries, sign up on our web pages, and we you will get a call within 12 hours.
Yeah.
Everybody, wishing you all the best
Thank you,
and
everybody. Wishing you a good evening. Thank you.